The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by SIDEBAR, its guests, callers, and advisors are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS Verizon Media Group. SIDEBAR, a 103.5 The Beat podcast, is a production of ILTV Studios and may not be reproduced or represented in part or in its entirety without the express written consent of Verizon Media Group. SIDEBAR is the intellectual property of Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2024. All rights reserved.
If your girlfriend only have one chin, she's single. What does that have to do with the show today? Nothing. Welcome back to SIDEBAR, a 103 The Beat podcast powered by ILTV. So guys, I figured it out. The source of all the problems in the country, specifically this country. And it's so simple. You think that the answer to all the issues in the country would be either A, million different things, or B, at the very least, complicated to explain. You know what is complicated? Tuna fish and grits. Why in the Sam Hill do we as Bahamians take hot corn porridge, put cold mayonnaise on top of that, and think, yeah, this is normal? This is a group of people whose biggest cultural disagreement in the past 50 years has been, can you put mayonnaise on conch salad? Think about how weird it is that we both put mayonnaise in and on everything, but also think that it is the most disgusting thing in the world. Now see, that is a complicated thing to dissect. Mayonnaise does not belong on conch unless it's cracked with onions or maybe conch for the sauce, or it's a part of a special sauce that you squirt at a sushi bar. My friend, that is the actions and the thoughts of someone who is mixed up like conch salad with mayonnaise. And sorry, but this is not to the point of the actual show, but while we're here, duff, guava duff is boiled bread. That's not weird. Boiled bread. Listen, I am a conch salad purist, but if we are going to continue to tuna fish and grits, which if I recall is too legit to quit, then maybe we shouldn't be so hard on our northern brothers and sisters for adding a little aioli to their ceviche. Now, I know what you're thinking. This dingbat is going to blame all of the nation's problems on conch salad. And while that would be very entertaining, and I probably could make that argument, no, that's not where I'm going. But points for remembering. This is all about finding the supreme enemy of progress and happiness of all Bahamians. There's a group of people who, if you go down to the bottom of every problem of this country, you will find at least one of them at its source. Is your child undereducated? It's their fault. You don't have a job? It's their fault. Do you not have a place to live? It's their fault. Did your wife cheat on you? It's their fault. Did you cheat on your wife? It's still their fault. Are you overweight, underweight, middle featherweight? All of it is their fault. Now, come here. Let me tell you something. Remember that time you woke up late for school in grade 10 and you were rushing to get ready and you bucked your toe on the metal thing on the side of the bed? You didn't break it or anything, but it hurt a lot for a little bit. Well, guess what? That was their fault too, dog. Now I'm going to reveal to you this nefarious group of people that are stopping you from living your best life. But you have to promise me something. You have to promise me that you are not going to get mad at me for telling you. Because like once I tell you this thing, you can't unknow it. And listen, it's going to be so obvious, dog. My producer has told me, no, Steven, don't say it. Somebody could call Erica and then they could throw rocks at you and stuff. But you know what? That's what I would expect from those people. But I like you. And so I'm not going to keep this secret from you any longer. The problem with the Bahamas is Bahamians. Don't get mad at me. That's what it is. Most times, the issue with the group are the members of that group. The problem with the church is Christians. The problem with the Lakers is the team. The problem with the Bahamas is Bahamians. Ask yourself, do you think the shareholders of Apple blame the IT department at Facebook for their lack of innovation? No, they blame Steve Jobs for dying and not creating an iPancreas. But all this brings to bear the question of what even is a Bahamian? I mean, the most basic of answers, of course, is someone who is from the Bahamas. But then again, what is the Bahamas? The best tourist pamphlets will say that the word Bahamas comes from the Spanish words Baja Mar, and that's translated as shallow sea. Except maps that have survived from the 1500s when the Spanish were running this part of the world show that the islands generally kept their Lucayan names. But on the map, there was a Bahama. The island of Grand Bahama is the original Bahama. And if the fact that the second city was actually the first Bahama isn't confusion enough, when you look at what the name Bahama in Lucayan means, it gets even crazier, right? You'd think it means something cool like great fatherland or land of big forehead women, but Bahama means large upper middle land. In fact, the original names of most of our islands sound more like directions on a road map. New Providence was Nima or Middle Water. Meguana was lesser Midwestern land, and Inagua was small Eastern land, but sometimes it was known as Banaki, big water land. No one speaks Lucayan anymore except for a handful of people in Guyana. So when people hear these names like Yuma and Habaco, we can invent whatever meaning we want and set that as the standard to live up to. We can actually define Bahamian for ourselves. And that's what the show is all about, inventing the idea of the Bahamian. Because although Bahamians are the problem with the country, we're also the only ones that can fix it. I'm Stephen Hanna. This is Sidebar. Come with me today when our guest, Sebastian, a true Bahamian, joins us to talk about what it means to him to be a Bahamian. What you mean you couldn't get him again?
Get ready to win Lucky Bucks. Wherever you see this taxi, flag it down.
The boy hard, beating so hard, I will be hard. What here? I'm looking for my first contestant to ride in the Lucky Taxi. Walk in the taxi, you got to do the Lucky Walk, Oh, thanks. Man, thank you, sir. 85 times 2 is how much, brother? You leave with $170, brother?
I never expected to win as much as I win.
Very excited when the gentleman picked me to ride inside.
You wouldn't believe that number I just played dropping quick 4. This 5K can come and clutch, my boy.
So you ain't had the mega ball on that?
You know mega ball on quick 4, my man.
Oh, okay then.
Mega Ball, now available on Quick 4. Multiply your winnings with the only 4-ball game that pays $20,000. With a draw every 30 minutes, your chances to win are mega.
I bet you I could beat you running into this long ball.
I bet you my drink will come up before yours. Well,
I bet you I could hold my breath longer.
bet.
Hey, wait.
If it can happen, you can bet it. So why not bet with us? The Bahamas' #1 online casino, lottery, and sportsbook. We bet you won't find bigger payouts anywhere else but islandluck.com. Winners live here.
Looking for that perfect carpet happy hour experience? Forge connections, fuel success, and feel the beat. Join 103.5 The Beat each and every Friday at Club Waterloo. RSVP now, limited spots available.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
So you want a space, but not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Welcome back. This is Sidebar. I'm Stephen Hanna. With me today is, once again, not Sebastian. He was unable to make it, but that's fine. We have with us another Bahamian, Patrick Deveaux.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
It's great to be here.
Right.
Is that what the people say? Yeah.
Sometimes. Depends if they feel like
Thanks
lying.
for having me.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Patrick, the question is, I assume that you've been a Bahamian for a while.
Since birth.
Right, so you're speaking from experience. Not even what. Who decides who is a Bahamian? And I mean that in the broadest sense possible, because you have this idea of Bahamianness and who is a Bahamian, but there's also like a legal sense. So like, who decides that what the zeitgeist decides is Bahamian?
Obviously, there is, like you mentioned, the legal sense, the paperwork, the applications for citizenship, all that stuff.
Right.
Just people feeling it's their birthright. My father was Bahamian, my mother was Bahamian. Oh, of course I'm Bahamian, right? I got a passport, all this stuff, right? But beyond that, right? Because obviously there is a right answer in terms of, all the legalities.
Right.
But I think, in the broader sense,
right,
I think a Bahamian is whoever wants to be a Bahamian. I think the person that wakes up every morning and says to themselves, I am proud, I am a Bahamian,
right,
then you're a Bahamian. It's just, if you want to be a Bahamian, then that's who you are.
Right. And so like that's more like Bahamian in a spiritual sense, whereas like you deciding to be a Bahamian is what makes, like in the
because there are people with passports, Bahamian passports.
Right.
who wake up and decide they don't want to be Bahamian, right?
That is also true.
Right. So, I feel like that is the answer of who decides, rather than it's the person themselves. Like they decide whether they want to take up this mantle or not.
I mean, so should it not be like a communal effort? 'Cause I mean, like if Bahamians are a group of people, right, then shouldn't there be like some group say in who gets to be a Bahamian? And then also, to what extent would the group have that influence? Because I get what you're saying. What you're saying makes sense. Because there are people who, I don't even say they're people, there are people who be like, Stephen ain't no real Bahamian, right? And my Bahamianness should not be based on whether or not they like me that day.
Right.
Right, like I should be, it's the same thing where there's an idea of there is no true Scotsman or there's no true Christian. It's a fallacy where because everything is this extreme or this absolute, a real Christian is go to church every Sunday. But what if you're Seventh-day Adventist?
Right.
Right? Or a real Christian.
Well, that's a whole different.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but like, different people be like, well, you ain't a real Christian because you just drink alcohol. But then so do Anglicans and so do Catholics and so do, like,
and then that's another thing, right? Again, there are, things in place to say, hey, there might be people who, like you say, a group of people who can decide your level of
Bahamianness.
Right. And the same thing with your level of Christianness. But if we look at it in that way, it's still in the heart, right?
Right.
If you say you're a Christian, right? Because who knows why you drank that day? Maybe you regretted it. Maybe you were like, I know I shouldn't drink, but the flesh felt weak.
But maybe you don't find it morally reprehensible to not.
True, but I mean, is it, right? Or is it drunkenness that is, right? Because there's layers.
This is
right?
not a theological.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Right, yes, right.
So it's all, I still think even in that sense, it falls on the person.
Right.
Right? To say, because nobody knows what you do behind closed doors unless they're
if you're a real Bahamian behind closed doors.
In the closet somewhere. But, yeah, so, yeah, I mean.
And so I get that, and that makes sense. But there are things that persons materially feel like you have to do this, or doing this makes you more Bahamian, right? And so, like, in your mind, what are some of those things that make you materially Bahamian? So, like, and of course, this is where the problem comes in, because I don't think there is one thing that every Bahamian does.
There might be.
Well, I welcome you to say, but I
can't say.
I don't even think every Bahamian agrees on what type of water to drink.
They won't like it, but...
Go ahead.
No,
it's fine.
I can't.
This is a very open, liberal station. They let me on. So I don't think that they're going to... And we played the disclaimer, right? We played the disclaimer, Cam. So they're like, yeah, fine. So I know materially, people like to think, oh, you're in a real Bahamian if you don't eat conch or if you don't eat guava duff. I find guava duff abhorrent.
So do I.
Does that make me less of a Bahamian? I think guava is the weirdest thing ever.
I think having an opinion on guava duff makes you more Bahamian than someone who blindly likes it because it's supposedly
the thing.
Right, the thing, right? It's like, because again, I think someone outside of the realm of Bahamianness doesn't care. They just have this dish and they're like,
they like it or they don't like it.
I don't like it. There's no connection to it. But for someone to dislike guava duff, there's still that connection. There's still that tie to your Bahamianness. Right.
In your dislike for it.
Right.
Because it has some historical value.
Because you acknowledge that as a Bahamian, I should
care about this.
Right, but you don't.
But honestly, why should you care about it? It's literally boiled bread.
Yeah, it's not good.
Right, and so there's that, there's conch, there's peas and rice. Most of the things that people consider to be material proof of Bahamianness
is food.
Are food related, right? And then there's also, it's either food or junk canoe. But now the issue is, junk canoe is not Bahamian. It is a thing that Bahamians practice. It is something that we hold in a superior position.
Someone may fight you on that.
I'm certain that people will fight me on it. But here's the thing. Well, first of all, John Canoe is in almost every English-speaking Caribbean country.
Right, and so it's not solely Bahamian.
Right, but beyond the fact that people outside the Bahamas practice it, right? I'm fine with that. But within the Bahamas, every island does not have a John Canoe tradition. So they don't have John Canoe in Long Island, but they do have it in Inagua.
It was more of a Nassau, New Providence.
Right, so like New Providence, for sure. Grand Bahama, yes.
Right.
Inagua, yes. Exuma has it as well, right? Not Exuma, Luther, right? But there are islands where there is no tradition of John Canoe. And it's not to say they never heard of it, but the tradition, either it died out or it never existed, right? Does it then make them less Bahamian when they, and I would tell, here's a funny story, all right? I used to work for a company, and the VP of the company descended from Long Island, and he was talking about working John Canoe into the marketing of the company. And he's like, could you imagine somebody doing some John Canoe, and they're like, ding-dong-dong-dong-dong-dong-dong, playing a guitar, because he had no idea. This man was almost 50. Didn't know nobody uses guitars to John Canoe. And I'm in the meeting looking around like, what is this man talking about? But it's like, does that make him less of a Bahamian for not knowing
Definitely.
that?
That is. See, because, yeah, that is, I think knowledge of culture, too, is important. You may not enjoy it. You may not participate in it.
Right.
But you
should be aware of it.
You have to be aware of it. Like if you went off somewhere else outside the Bahamas,
right,
and someone said, "Hey, you're from the Bahamas. Tell me about John Canoe," and you did this motion, the entire country should disown you. Right,
because you've embarrassed us.
Right, there's no excuse for that.
Like, have you never seen an Atlantis commercial?
You can literally
There's
say,
no
hey,
guitars.
I hate John Canoe, right? As a Bahamian.
Right.
But you should be able to describe it and say, okay, this is what it is.
That's the clip, by the way.
Right, and if that's your thing, you do that. As for me, I stay home in my house.
Right.
And drink hot cocoa or something. I don't know. But, yeah.
I don't know, there's also, and then even something like John Canoe that you would think is widespread enough for everybody to agree on and say, this is Bahamian, we love this. I remember 20 years ago, John Canoe was still being frowned upon by members of the church, by the clergy, and they're saying this is a bad thing. And I think it's because John Canoe was connected to that tradition, that ring play tradition, and not kid ring play, real ring play, like fire dancer ring play where women are topless, dancing around a fire for money as the tourists come and say, oh, I've never seen this before, right? That's the part that they don't tell you about.
I've seen that before.
Well, only the last time they went to a black, country or whatever. So like, because of all of those historical moments and stuff, right? They're like, oh, this is not something that we want to hold to us, all right? And so now the question,
but that is also a result of an invasive culture coming in
and imposing their morals.
Right. Because we arguably, well, not even arguably, but Christianity, the culture of Christianity, is not. If John Canoe isn't even native to the Bahamas,
certainly.
Right. Christianity isn't either, right?
Oh,
because
not Western.
Right. So that whole thing was, hey, where to try to conform and sort of say, hey, this is what it should be,
right?
And try to mold the country into this image of, some sort of morality paradise, right? Same thing with the ships with the homosexual.
You got to be way more specific. Okay.
Like the ships. I don't know what to call them.
You're like
gay cruises,
the gay
right?
ships.
But I don't know if everybody on the ships were gay. But yeah, I mean, so that's the reason why they were like, hey, they shouldn't come here, because it was like a whole thing where everything that seemed to be against Christianity or
this is a
representation of something other than that sort of alignment was like, okay, we have to do away with this thing. It had nothing to do with whether it was culturally sound or not.
Right.
It was just like, hey, you know, this goes against the moral heartbeat of the country. So.
Right. And then that's a whole different philosophical discussion as to whether is your morality set in stone? Is it what you make it? And who decides morality? Because the idea that morality is something that is given to us through religion versus this is something that we all agree on is always questionable. Because I apologize, one moment. All right? For case in point, all right? Bro, the Bible explicitly says charging interest to somebody that you are from the same country as is a sin. How many Christians work at banks? So we can choose, and it's in the same book that says homosexuality is wrong within the Bible. So it's like, we can choose which, not even part of the Bible, we're talking about which verse and chapter in this same book that we say this is eternal and this must be held account, you must do this. But then we disregard this other piece that was equally as important. Apparently, that's the whole plot point for the, for what's it called? The Pound of Flesh with Shylock. Merchant of Venice.
Merchant of Venice.
The whole plot point of Merchant of Venice is, the reason why it happens is because in that town, the only people allowed to charge interest or to lend money were Jews. So, because the Christians were not allowed to charge interest. And so that's why Shylock was looked down upon as a Jewish person, because he's this guy who's lending out money and charging interest for it. That's the inciting incident. But once again, that's neither here nor there. The whole point is, as Bahamians, how do we then decide what is Bahamian? Because now we have a choice. Because clearly there are things that we could choose to pick up and there are things we choose to put down. So when we come back, because I just saw the time, we can discuss what exactly are we going to hold on to as Bahamians and what can we let go of. Taking a breath. You're watching Sidebar. We'll be back after this.
Get ready to win Lucky Bucks. Wherever you see this taxi, flag it down.
The boy hard, beating so hard, I will be hard, beating right here. I'm looking for my first contestant to ride in the Lucky Taxi. Walk in the taxi, you gotta do the Lucky Walk, bro. Oh, yeah. Thanks. Man, thank you, sir. 85 times 2 is how much, brother? You leave it with $170, brother.
I never expected to win as much as I win.
Bring it along.
Very excited when the gentleman picked me to ride inside the taxi.
You wouldn't believe that number I just played, dropping quick 4. This 5 taking come and clutch, my boy.
So you ain't had the mega ball on that?
You know mega ball on quick 4, my man.
Oh, okay then.
Mega Ball, now available on Quick 4. Multiply your winnings with the only 4-ball game that pays $20,000. With a draw every 30 minutes, your chances to win are mega.
I bet you I could beat you running into this long ball.
I bet you my drink will come out before yours. Well.
I bet you I could hold my breath longer.
Bet.
Hey, wait.
If it can happen, you can bet it. So why not bet with us? The Bahamas' #1 online casino, lottery, and sportsbook. We bet you won't find bigger payouts anywhere else but islandluck.com. Winners live here.
Looking for that perfect carpet happy hour experience? Forge connections, fuel success, and feel the beat. Join 103.5 The Beat each and every Friday at Club Waterloo. RSVP now, limited spots available.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
So you want a space, but not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Welcome back. This is Sidebar. I'm Stephen Hanna. And we have with us Patrick Deveaux. We're talking about Bahamian. Bahamianness, what makes one a Bahamian, and in particular, the idea of there being this absolute Bahamianness. You know? Of course.
Are we talking about alcohol here? Absolute Bahamian.
But no, right? So there were things that Bahamians would have done, and like from a cultural standpoint, and say, okay, this is the Bahamian way of doing this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Time has elapsed, and those things no longer are the day-to-day way of doing something. The question is, are those things still Bahamian? Are those things still able to define? Can you still define somebody by that? Because, case in point, the only time that you will ever be able to say drinking switcher out of an old aluminum can is if you're either listening to an old Ronnie Butler song or if you are eating at, am I allowed to say the name of the restaurant at Awaki that serves you inside aluminum cans? Cam says he doesn't know if I can say the name. But there's a restaurant on Awaki. I think the owner's name is Trevor. Just go around and look for a dude with bright, shiny teeth. But they serve you in aluminum cans. But that is not a day-to-day thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that came out of, well, we are a far-flung colony. We don't have any natural resources.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to figure out a way to make things work. We get food into the colony in aluminum cans. Well, why would we just throw these away? We could just cut off the top, make sure it don't cut you, and serve drinks out of it. We could use it as a container. But that's not our case. That's not the case anymore. So like, if you went in somebody's house and they were doing that, would you be like, oh, this person is a real Bahamian?
Is that a question?
That is a question.
No.
Would you be you'd be concerned?
Concerned about what, their health?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I mean, just saying, like,
those cats could be rusty.
Not the way they take care of them.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, are there things that, whether or not they are still practiced on a daily basis, remain in the realm of Bahamianness?
I don't know how to, well, I know how I want to answer it, but I don't know how to give an answer, right?
Okay.
If that makes sense, right? I know how I'm going to answer what you ask.
Go ahead.
But I think it might be a non-answer.
Right.
Right? Because
that's the political thing.
I have battled with the thought of this, and forgive me if there's already been discourse amongst the intellectuals about.
No one else is in this room.
No, I mean in general, right? The Nicolette Bethels and the Ian Straughns and the people that usually write and discuss these things all the time. But I think there is there's often within the Bahamian sense a confusion between history and culture, right? Mm-hmm. And something that was done historically, right, where we link it, we romanticize it, or we have some sort of, at least the older Bahamians, because we're a very young country regardless, right? We have Bahamians living here that are older than the country itself, right? And so
every permanent secretary.
this whole nostalgia about this, right? And so when people look back and like stuff with eating out the can and going to the pump and making shoe out of tire and all that stuff, right? Like when we look at that, is that really culture or is that just people romanticizing history, right? Right, because is that something that it was like you say that the times have changed, right? So that doesn't mean those things are no longer cultural, but if we can move on from them, then it's sort of, to me, in the realm of history, right?
Yes, you're correct.
And it could be looked at culturally, but it's not. I wouldn't classify that as like wearing a Kokasak bag is not culture.
But so here's the thing, and the reason why I bring that up is because there are things that people do as a default whenever somebody says, okay, put on some Bahamian clothes.
Like plaiting straw, I would say, is culture. But wearing a straw hat isn't culture.
But see, that's the thing.
The act of plaiting
is a dying...
Right? But nobody walks around on a daily basis with straw hats on.
Somewhere does.
I mean, people, for fashion, right? Obviously. But I'm saying, like, culturally...
No, that's not the norm.
That's not the normal dress of a normal Bahamian person.
Right, so the shortcut of it is simply that culture is what you do and history is why you do it, right? With that said, there are things that we look at as culture that are actually history, like you're saying, right? And we've confused the two, right? And every time you do it, you're forcing it and it has no relevance in today's day and age. And so it will not be practiced and it feels inauthentic. The maypole, every single time we go to a family island, there's if it's a holiday and they have kids around, like, we're going to teach the kids how to plait the maypole. Why? What is a maypole? Are you aware? Like, even if, at least if we were pagans and we were worshiping like Asheroth or something, that makes sense. But there is no cultural significance to this. We live in a world where we buy items. We can buy a custom-made item from Temu or Shein and have it delivered within the month that has your name engraved on it. Decorating a giant piece of wood because we are poor and this is all that we can afford to do to worship the queen on her birthday is no longer relevant to us, right? None of these, she's not even here. She's dead, right?
Please, there are still people in mourning.
Okay, cool, right. So the question then is, like, at what point, what things are we saying this thing is Bahamian, but we've rejected it in reality? And so therefore it is not practiced, and then we can't be hurt when the children who come after us don't do it. Right? So, and another case in point, almost, I would say 60% of Bahamian culture has to do with food. We would say peas and rice is our national dish. I don't know how, but okay, sure. How many people know how to cook peas and rice?
Listen,
that number is dwindling by the day,
You're hitting
right?
hard.
In 20 years, there are going to be children who grew up and said, I remember when my mama used to cook fettuccine on Sunday, because that's all the people know how to cook now.
That's a national dish.
Yeah, fettuccine. I know how to cook. What you cook? Fettuccine. How you make it? I get a jar of fettuccine sauce, and then I boil noodles, and I pour it on top of it. And sometimes I put shrimp in it when I feel it, when it's your birthday.
That's the Bahamian element, shrimp and gum.
Except there's no shrimp in the Bahamas.
What?
So my question is, right, and here's the thing.
That's crazy.
I'm not one of those people who would be so hard and fast and say, bro, if it ain't growing here, then it ain't Bahamian. Because the tuna that we eating, if you read the back of the can, it say the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a single ingredient in macaroni and cheese that comes out of the Bahamas unless you have your own chickens for the eggs. We don't make cheese. We don't have no dairy farm. We used to. We don't have no wheat to grow to make the pasta. Some of us ain't even getting our onions from the Bahamas. And then some people don't like onions inside their stuff, whatever, right? None of these things, and the idea of macaroni and cheese, that's an American idea, right? Now, how we do our macaroni and cheese...
Yeah, it's not American.
Right, is not American. And so is the process of Bahamianness not that we have material things that you can measure, but what you do with those material things. Everybody in the world has clothes on some level, right? Because you need something to protect you from the elements. But how you wear the clothes and how these clothes are worn or what is acceptable to wear in certain circumstances is that what makes you Bahamian, right? I got in trouble for this before.
Okay.
But I feel very strongly against batik. I'm not going to call the name of which company, but I don't like the idea of if somebody says we're going to put on our national dress, you do the lazy thing of looking like an NIB employee and you get just random batik that doesn't speak to anything, all right? Batik, that in of itself does not make it Bahamian. The Bahamianness of it is, are you able to wear this on a daily basis? Are you going to actually cut the fabric in a way that a Bahamian would wear it on a Wednesday? Not just, oh, the National Youth Choir singing on Independence. We got to get some shirt that look like somebody cut it out of cardboard and dance like this. Like, what is it that is making this Bahamian? That, I think, is the real question. And then even something as simple as everywhere else in the world, you go into fast food restaurants, and the further flung they are, the more culturally diverse you find these restaurants. You go in some Southeast Asian places, they have yam for dessert, purple yam inside the dessert. They eating spaghetti inside the McDonald's.
Right.
They changing this. If you go to Middle Eastern countries, chicken. You go to India, definitely no beef. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have to maneuver within the culture itself. But you come to the Bahamas, and the question is it us or is it them?
We're just very accommodating.
Right. Is it that we are so accommodating that we're just like, you don't have to do none of these stuff?
Yes. That's a simple answer.
Okay. Well, sorry. I thought it was an either or.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, like a bit. See, and I'm going to show my Bahamianness, right?
Go ahead.
I'm the type of person, when you ask me where I want to eat, my answer is yeah. Because it doesn't matter. Like, you know, and Bahamians, we're kind of like, we're, now I notice, I think, I can't remember exactly what it was, but to speak to that, McDonald's had something on their menu.
A guava pie.
Right, something like that. And, you know,
so they still sell it.
Right, they try.
Right.
But,
and KFC did do peas and rice and sauce.
But Bahamians love apple pie.
Right.
They like cheesecake.
We what?
They love French fries.
We want our KFC to be as American
as possible. They don't have a problem with a bacon cheeseburger.
Right.
Like, they're looking at like, ew. No, they'll eat that, right? So a lot of these places don't have a problem when they come to the Bahamian market because we're accepting of all this American food and all this other stuff.
Right.
We're used to eating what, you know, the Chinese food, right? Which, you know.
But even with that,
in later years, we found out the Chinese don't even eat.
Right. I was gonna say, and the thing
but
is,
we're used to eating that stuff, right? So a lot of them don't have to come here and adjust their menus to accommodate our palates, because our palates are very accommodating.
Our palates like, what you got?
Right. What you really eat?
Right.
You know.
But I think that we are truly missing out on something, because even with Chinese food, Jamaican Chinese food apparently is different from Chinese food everywhere else in the world.
And I have heard that KFC, Bahamian KFC, is spicy.
Compared to who?
Compared to everywhere else, I guess. Because a lot of people
say spicy.
No, it's not like to them. Right. It's spicy.
Yeah.
Because
the tongue weak.
I guess for some reason they realize Bahamians like spice. So if you go to somewhere else to a KFC and you order the spicy, it ain't really that spicy. There's some chicken with salt on it.
You're right.
Right. But people, I've noted a lot of times, like people from other Caribbean places and even Americans, they'll say that
Americans.
our KFC has a spicier flavor than what they're used to, right? So maybe in that sense, maybe there's subtle changes, but you know, because we're people, we like goat pepper, we like, you know, our jerk chicken gotta be, you know,
I mean, jerk chicken ain't even pepper.
Hot. Exactly. But Bahamians will get the jerk, order the spice, the hottest one, and then get extra stuff and put it on top of that.
Yeah.
You gotta see, if you ain't sweating while you eat,
then you ain't really eating.
Right, you ain't really eating, and that's the Bahamian way, right? So
is that what we're leaving them with the note of?
Yeah, Bahamians like spicy food.
Wow. I guess we can call the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Immigration to tell them that we've solved it.
Yes, spice.
If the person likes spicy food, give them a passport. Thank you.
Maybe. you hit on something there. I had to pause. I was like, wow, yeah. Perhaps. That's all it takes.
Patrick, thank you.
Yeah.
We'll come back to this conversation. Yes. You're listening to Sidebar. I'm Stephen Hanna. We'll be back after this break.
Get ready to win lucky bucks. Wherever you see this taxi, flag it down.
The boy hard, beating so hard, I will be hard with what here. I'm looking for my voice contestant to ride in the lucky taxi. You walk in the taxi, you got to do the lucky walk, Oh, thanks. Man, thank you, sir. 85 times 2 is how much, brother? You leave with $170, brother?
I never expected to win as much as I win.
Very excited when the gentleman picked me to ride inside the
You wouldn't believe that number I just played, dropping quick 4. This 5K can come and clutch, my boy.
So you ain't had the mega ball on that?
You know mega ball on quick 4, my man.
Oh, okay then.
Mega Ball, now available on Quick 4. Multiply your winnings with the only 4-ball game that pays $20,000. With a draw every 30 minutes, your chances to win are mega.
I bet you I could beat you running into this long ball.
I bet you my drink will come out before yours. Well.
I bet you I could hold my breath longer.
Bet.
Hey, wait.
If it can happen, you can bet it. So why not bet with us? The Bahamas' #1 online casino, lottery, and sportsbook. We bet you won't find bigger payouts anywhere else but islandluck.com. Winners live here.
Looking for that perfect carpet happy hour experience? Forge connections, fuel success, and feel the beat. Join 103.5 The Beat each and every Friday at Club Waterloo. RSVP now, limited spots available.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
So you want a space, but not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Welcome back to Sidebar, a 103 The Beat podcast powered by ILTV and good old-fashioned electricity. I'm Stephen Hanna, and this is our island segment. In this segment, I take an island of the Bahamas and talk about what makes it special, what you should know about it, and if I'm no longer allowed to visit it. There are at least 18 major populated islands in the country, so I'm going to be doing this for a while. I know what you're wondering. Does potato salad count as a real salad? If you're German and you're using the word very loosely, then yes, but your doctor does not count it. You are also probably wondering, aren't there 700 islands in the country? I don't know, because when I was a child, they'd make us say 700 islands, reefs, and keys, which it kind of makes you feel like there are a handful of that 700 that are just like random rocks that are only visible during low tide. But let me not make any ministry reprint their billboard for the sake of facts and statistical data. Before we dive headfirst into your favorite island, let's set the tone by talking about the country as a whole. So, for the island segment's first episode, we are going to cover the Bahamas. Cue the segment music. No segment music. Cool. If I was Rodney, I'd get flags and things, but you know what? This is going on your performance review. Do you know what is annoying? When someone internationally says something like, Buddy Heel originally hails from Bahamas. Who you call them Bahamas? Our name is the Bahamas. We ain't no company for you to be calling us all type of things. And some of you watching may say, well, what's the big deal? Because your name is your name. And speaking from experience, the worst thing in the world is catching two bus to cash a check downtown and find out that the person spelled your name wrong. Now you gotta walk all the way back home because you used your last money to get this far. Officially, our name, the Bahamas' name, includes the word the. Why is this? I don't actually know the official reason, but I was never too ashamed to try and not guess. Let's start with the word the. That is what's called a definite article, which means that if you put it in front of a noun, the reader or listener is made aware that they know that noun. If I say, the man crossed the street, I know that you know which man I'm talking about and what street I mean, even if you don't know the name of the man or the street. So let's clear this up right now. When you hear the Bahamas, you already know. Another thing is that the English language, there's only one definite article. In French, you have les and la and sometimes just an L with an apostrophe because the French are a strange bunch, and we will never forget the horrors they inflicted on this planet from Haiti to Burkina Faso. The Spanish also have this habit of colonization, as well as multiple definite articles. But in English, colonialism aside, there's only one definite article, the. And so, same thing. It's only one Bahamas, the Bahamas. You don't need to get confused about who you thought. It's us, bro. It's us. Reason number 3. As you may recall, Bahama is the name that the Lucayans gave to one of these islands. Bahama is one island. So how we can name all the islands Bahama? And if every island is Bahama, then there's more than one Bahama island. And so you add a S and boom, Bahamas. So now when you say the Bahamas, you're making separate islands into one thing, a single multiple. I'm able to tell you that from island to island, shoot, sometimes settlement to settlement, but we different, babe. But at the same time, we's the same thing. Which thing? You already know. We's the thing. This is Sidebar, a 103 The Beat podcast powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back. Well, this is the wrap up. You're listening to Sidebar with Stephen Hanna. I've been reminded that I have to say my name for the people on the radio as well as the visually impaired who may not know what I look like. We were talking about today Bahamian and Bahamianness. And I just want to share with you guys something that annoys me. I hate, and I don't know when this started, and I don't know who started it, but it needs to stop. When I see somebody and they say, instead of good morning, or thank you, or you're welcome, they say manners and respect. What the Sam hell is that? That doesn't make any sense. What do you mean manners and respect? And I don't know, I find it violently upsetting. Please stop saying it. It's okay to say thank you. What is, like, manners and respect is a general title for an action. Like, that's a thing that you do. You don't just say manners and respect. That's not, like, you go, could you imagine somebody give you food and instead of you saying thank you, you're like, breakfast and lunch. That's dumb. Why would you do it? That's the stupidest thing ever. And I'm sure that I'm offending somebody inside the bus right now. Or maybe they work at an office and they've taken up to doing this very stupid thing. It's a stupid thing. Let's choose to invent and make the Bahamas better by not absorbing every stupid cultural thing that comes across the table. That's it. So anyway, this has been Sidebar. I'm Stephen Hanna, and I will see you, well, you'll see me next week. Clap.